Well guys, Ibrahim back with you with another video for Off the Canvas Boxing. Excited for what's to come, and literally we've got a few topics to touch as well. So some of them have opened up a sort of a can of this celebrity boxing environment, so to say. So I'm gonna get straight into it. So we've got McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao. And we also have Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. And for me, I never thought I'd be saying any of these matchups. But we live in a crazy world and money talks, you know what I mean? So for me, let's start off with Conor McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao. That's like saying Cristiano Ronaldo versus Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? So these are like fantasy matchups, but it's possible because I haven't read the news over the last couple of weeks. It looks like it's actually happening next year in June in Saudi Arabia. So it's crazy stuff as well. If it's in a boxing ring, of course it's going to be Manny Pacquiao. It's tough for McGregor to win in a boxing bout. Despite the fact that he has attributes, he's worked on some boxing attributes with striking, slipping, defending, you know what I mean? It's different to facing a world champion and one of the pound for pound greatest of all time boxers in Manny Pacquiao. There's levels to this, you know what I mean? If it's in a boxing ring, Manny Pacquiao he's way too fast for him, way too slippery for him. He's going to attack him similar to how, if I wanted to guess, how he beat Ricky Hatton. I know he's about 41 years of age, but he can easily beat McGregor. Easily, like it'll be a comfortable exhibition. And McGregor, he's earning a lot of money from this. He's doing a lot of good business moves with the exhibition with Floyd Mayweather, with the proper whiskey brand as well, which is growing. So he's doing a few great business moves. And as a fighter in his caliber, if he fights Manny Pacquiao, if he fights Mike Tyson, it's on the cards. If he fights Mike Tyson, for example, he's going to build up a brand that's bigger than what he could have potentially achieved in the UFC. But then again, he loses the credibility amongst the fight fans, amongst the fighters themselves, and he's tarnishing. Is he tarnishing his legacy? It's a different type of legacy. I don't think he's tarnishing his legacy because he said that he's retired from competitive UFC fighting. So technically his legacy is done and dusted. Yeah, that's a bit weird. But yeah, literally, is he tarnishing his legacy? No. Because his legacy has already been completed when he decided to choose for retirement. Why did he choose to retire early? That's a great question as well. At the age of 30, he chooses to retire. But then again, he's in the sport of MMA. He's probably thinking the guys between 30 and 40, they can easily get knocked out and really face long health damages as well. I know with boxing it's a bit different because with boxing it's like the gloves are a bit bigger, and it's only striking really to the head and to the body. And a lot of the fighters are trained to slip shots as well. In UFC, it's a lot more brutal. So I can understand why he retired early, but then again, and then you got Manny Pacquiao, like the WBA world champion. He's pound for pound one of the greatest of all time. What's the incentive for him? Run it up! A great payday. His legacy is already complete because he's 40 years old, you know what I mean? So what really else could he do? It's a lose-lose situation for Manny Pacquiao. Because if Manny Pacquiao wins, it's Manny Pacquiao winning. Like, he should be winning, you know what I mean? If Manny Pacquiao loses, yeah, it's going to be a tough road for him. He's going to get humiliated, dragged across the city. for losing against a fighter with one boxing professional, bout. This, and also it grows the sport of boxing, which is another benefit as well, bringing the brand exposure to the sport of boxing. Like young McGregor fans, people who watch clips of Manny Pacquiao will be like, oh, what's this? They're gonna have to undercut this fighter, that fighter, and all of a sudden these loads of millions of fans, a couple of them, or one, like I would say 2 to 10% of them will probably be intrigued with what's going on and the sport of boxing and what any can tell. They might join it themselves, you know what I mean? So for the sport of boxing as well, and if it's coming out next year summer, EA, not EA, I believe Matchroom and a gaming company will form together to produce a sort of a fight night game. So that's going to be huge stuff as well. And if that comes out next year as well, then all of this will kind of collide as well. And if Mayweather, which is I'm going to get onto Mayweather now as we speak, if Mayweather fights Logan Paul, do you know how much, like, we're talking an untapped audience of young girls, young women from these, middle-aged background, are going to watch an actual boxing match and actually want to take part. It's a bit mad, you know what I mean? It's a bit different to what the crowd you're used to, because in boxing it's more like an older generation, middle class background. People from low income backgrounds tend to take part because that is a method to escape wherever the circumstance they're in. But a lot of the local ball fans, it's gonna be interesting. But Mayweather, you can't lose. It's one thing losing, like Manny Pacquiao losing to McGregor, okay? Because McGregor is, he's one of the best UFC fighters, that has probably built up the brand and one of the best of all-time UFC fighters. But Logan Paul has had I would say, a very decent amateur background in wrestling, right? In wrestling, he's had 2 boxing fights, one against both of them which against another fellow YouTuber in KSI, which I was rooting for KSI, so you know what I'm saying, like, no hard feelings local, but you know what I'm saying, KSI like flipping. Yeah, he's big on our turf. I'm not gonna lie. In this small little island, KSI is huge. So, what you got but so he drew against KSI, which that first one, yeah, you could call it a draw. But then he fought against KSI in a professional bout. So he's got one professional fight, and that is a loss. Yeah. Well, do you know what? If I had the opportunity to fight Mayweather, why not? What have I got? Like, okay, I could lose some brain cells, you know what I'm saying? But, it, like, Mayweather is not like the knockout artist, you know what I mean? You're not gonna get. Then again, he's got the technical ability to whoop your ass. For Logan Paul, it's a win-win situation. He's gonna get a lot of money from it. He's going to be, if he goes in and wins a couple of rounds, and shows toughness, he's going to be respected a little more in the fight game, because he's fought in the ring, he's fought against one of the best of all time. You get somewhat of a little bit of more rep. And also as well, if he wins, yeah, Logan Paul will be like, he'll break the internet. I'm gonna get my Wi-Fi. I'm gonna throw it in the bin. You're gonna break the internet. Every household, the internet just start buffering at that point. You know what I'm saying? So but for Mayweather, it's a good business move. It opens up to a wider audience. It's an easy fight for him. On paper, it's an easy fight for him. Should be an easy fight for him. But given the caliber fights he actually fought against, this will be like light work. So and also as well he gets to build his brand. He earns a lot of money from this as well. But you can't keep doing this. It's not a sustainable thing. Like a lot of these huge fights, I'm gonna say this too with McGregor as well. You can't just jump in for a big payday because you can't. I would say I was gonna say at 50 something you could do that, but then again you got Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. doing that as well. So, um, like it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And I know Mayweather's got his gyms as well that he's opened. He's got a Mayweather promotion. He promotes Javante Davies and other sort of fighters as well. Great fighters in the Mayweather boxing gym as well. So I'm for me, I would say focus your attention of that afterwards, and also building other fighters or building other territories or other gyms or just general investments as well. You know what I mean? Because Mayweather has the pulling power, has the influence, has the money, has etc. to do big things as well. Big things. He could do. Um, he could take sort of the Dr. Dre, P Diddy route where they don't produce a lot of albums, a lot of songs, but they can then put their money and their time and their focus into building generational wealth and building a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? He might have a dynasty in his gyms as well, but we're talking like Ciroc and Beats by Dr. Dre type dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Or or Jordan's shoes. This guy can, bruv, he could release his own boxing gloves, his own boxing crepes. He could release like, he doesn't need. Why does he need Everlast? Him and Everlast can produce. Him and Nike can produce a trainer for running. Him and, you know what I'm saying. He could say I could do many things. So right, I don't know why, but then again, like in his career, he did get a lot of sponsorship deals. He produced a lot of his fights on a pay-per-view basis through fans, etc. But compared to other fighters, he did get a lot of revenue from sponsorships. He's not really sponsored at the moment by sort of the larger companies. Maybe it's tactical, maybe it's because he wants to provide his own wealth, but maybe it's because he wants to do his own thing. But the fight against, going back to the fight against Logan Paul, that should be his last fight. For me, I wouldn't want Mayweather to fight a single round, a single game again, because he's going to, it's going to be detrimental to himself. Unless, even if he fights the like Canelo now, I wouldn't want him to fight Canelo now because he beat him already, right? I know Canelo was very young at the time, but he really beat him already, so he's going on his record technically. He's got a perfect record of 50-0. With some of the fighters, very good fighters on his record, with Ricky Hatton on his record, with um, Ortiz on his record, with Miguel Cotto on his record, with Maidana twice on his record, with uh, you can name it, Oscar De La Hoya, you know, his best mate. Um, you know what I'm saying? He's got very good caliber of fighters on his record, so why he shouldn't really fight against Canelo? You know what I mean? Like, what's he gonna achieve afterwards? So that's my sort of take on what's happening. But literally, the YouTube boxing space and the celebrity boxing world is only good for boxing. You can't. There is no harm. They're not taking world championship belts away from people. They're not taking mandatory away from people. They're not taking medals or etc. Okay, they might take fight opportunities from individuals who should be fighting this person or that person ahead of some of these celebrities. But really and truly, it's not really. These fighters are not really affecting any of them. Mayweather, McGregor, uh, Manny Pacquiao, and definitely not Jake Paul. Jake Paul, Logan, both Pauls, they're not really affecting the boxing game. So if they're not affecting them in a negative way, they're already affecting them in a positive way. Of course, the credibility, some people say the credibility of the sport decreases. I tend to disagree. Does soccer aid devalue the worthiness of football? You know what I'm saying? Does an a celebrity NBA match discredit basketball in itself? I would say so. I would say so. It brings people to the sport, eyes on, people glued on, people want to take part, people want to tune in, people want to talk, opinions, etc. And it's only going to be the benefit of us all. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be more money pumped into the sport um, across all of the governing bodies, across all of the countries as well, through this as well. And it's only going to be that to the benefit of each fighter, each individual fighter. Now, how that power and the growth and the distribution and the money, where that goes to, it's a different story. But it's only going to be good for boxing. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for this and for tuning in, and for another video that I have produced as well. So I'm really excited for what's to come in the next couple of days. We've got the 17th of October, my birthday card. We also have the 24th of October card, I believe. And we also have the Usyk Chisora card. We should be getting previews and reviews accordingly for those ones as well. Well, thank you for watching another video for Off the Canvas Boxing with your host, Ibrahim, Ibra. You know what I'm saying. Peace, love, and prosperity. And I catch you guys in a bit. Peace.